Because why not finish Season 1 when Season 2 premieres tomorrow? Hello once again, watchers of Good TV. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my college dorm room. Now today I'm going to be talking about Season 1 of Sleepy Hollow. This is a show which debuted last year around this time, and it had a 13 episode run, and then it got renewed for a second season. So, second season, like I said, debuts tomorrow on Fox, so just check that out if you have not already. The whole first season is available on Hulu Plus as well. That's where I watched it. Sleepy Hollow follows the life of Ichabod Crane. He is a guy who lived during the Revolution, and he has been reborn, in a certain manner of speaking, in our present day society, and he is played by Tom Mison, and he does a really nice job with this role. He is believable as a 18th century person, and it just works really, really well with the character himself. He just does a really nice job with the role. Ichabod Crane is also just a really interesting character. He is someone who is totally out of his time. He's very committed to his old ways of doing things, and just in the first episode, seeing him try to adjust to our 21st century way of doing things is just very hysterical a lot of the time. His partner in crime, Abbie Mills, is portrayed by Nicole Beharie, and she does a really nice job with the role as well. She is someone who I have not seen on TV before, and she does a really nice job. She plays a lieutenant or a lieutenant in the Sleepy Hollow police force, and she does a really nice job. These two characters are our main characters of the show, Crane and Abbie. They are the witnesses. They are the people that are supposed to try to prevent the apocalypse from coming, and many, many obstacles are thrown their way as a result of this, and they basically have to find a way to stop Sleepy Hollow from being the gateway to the apocalypse. And one of the main reasons that they have to do this is because they have a horseman, Death, who is now in Sleepy Hollow beheading people. This show is based off of the Washington Irving book, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which does follow Ichabod Crane, Katrina, and a bunch of people, including the horsemen, but it's a very, very, very different story, and this show basically takes some of the characters, the setting, and adapts it to its own means. So if you have read the short story, this is not the same thing whatsoever. Katia Winter, she is Katrina Crane, and she is obviously Ichabod's wife, and she is a witch, and she is stuck in purgatory for a large majority of this season. And she is a very attractive woman, and she is a very interesting character who we see only a few times throughout the season, but she is always trying to help out Ichabod and Abbie as much as she possibly can while trying to figure out a way to free herself from purgatory. Orlando Jones plays Irving, and he is the captain of the police force, and he is Abbie's boss. And while skeptical at first, he does eventually come around to what Ichabod and Abbie are doing. And at first, I thought he was going to be a villain in this show, and because of a look that he gives Abbie during the first episode, and then he turns out to be not a villain at all. He's a good guy for the whole show, and I really enjoyed seeing that. He is a very interesting character, and seeing the background that he is dealing with is also very interesting to see develop throughout the course of the season. Lindy Greenwood plays Jenny. She is Abbie's sister, and she starts out the show in a mental facility. When Abbie and Jenny were young kids, they encountered Moloch, who was the main villain of this show, and Jenny confessed to seeing him. Abbie denied seeing him, so one went to a mental facility and one went on with their life. So there is some tension there, and Jenny does eventually become a very critical part of the show itself. And lastly, we have John Noble, who plays Henry Parrish, and he is probably one of the most interesting characters in this show for more reasons than simply the finale. He plays a guy named the Sin Eater, and he is a person who can track down the sins of people within themselves or within objects, and he can also separate people from their sins. And he does this primarily in the first episode that he is introduced in, when he has to separate Ichabod from the Horseman of Death. And that is a very interesting way to introduce him, and he comes around a few times throughout the rest of the season and becomes a key part of this team. There's a lot going on in this show, so I'm not going to get into every single detail because that would make for a really long review and video, and I don't want to do that. So just know that Ichabod and Abbie, they're the two witnesses. They're the people that are supposed to defend the world and Sleepy Hollow from the forces of evil. Ichabod has been doing this war for the last 200 years, and Abbie is very new to it, and just seeing their relationship form and them working together and just all the going-ons of the show make for a very, very interesting and very exciting show. My only real issue with the show itself is that there are some filler episodes which kind of focus on kind of more side and unimportant things that are going on, and not really on the whole, we need to stop this thing from getting out of hand type of situation, which really makes the show kind of move quickly. John Cho plays a kind of minor role in the show. He is Moloch's servant, and he is a very interesting character. We feel bad for him because he seems like he really does not want to help this guy, but he does anyway. Special effects in the show look really, really, really good, especially the monsters and the just magic and everything which is happening supernaturally in the show looks really, really good. You can see the show spared no expense on making the creatures look realistic and the effects look really, really nice and all that type of jazz. And then throughout the show we get flashbacks with primarily Ichabod and Katrina in the revolutionary setting, just either with Ichabod remembering certain things or just showing us what is happening as kind of a setup for the certain episode. Overall, as a show, I did really, really enjoy Sleepy Hollow. I would not have kept watching it if I did not. I got curious about it after I read the short story in one of my lit classes for this year, and so I figured, oh, let's see if this show is any good. Like I said, it's completely different than the short story, but it is really, really interesting and really exciting to watch, and I'm really excited to see the second season when it airs tomorrow. So now I will be talking about the ending to season 1, so if you have not completed season 1 of Sleepy Hollow, probably stop watching here, like, for a comment, and subscribe if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. So we are in the season 1 finale now, so just know that. We have Ichabod, we have Abbie, we have Henry, we have these 3 main characters who are attempting to get to Purgatory to free Katrina, and in doing so, Ichabod and Abbie have to face 2 tests, and so they pass those tests, and then they find Katrina, and Moloch's prophecy is essentially fulfilled. We kind of knew that this was going to happen, because that's kind of how a show goes. With something that's said to happen, it's going to happen one way or another. And so Abbie is forced to stay behind in Purgatory while Katrina is freed from Purgatory. Ichabod says that he will come and rescue her, which we know is going to happen. She is one of the main stars of the show. We know it's getting a second season, and from the trailers we see that she does get out of Purgatory. While in Purgatory, Abbie does have to kind of realize some things. She has to fight Moloch, which I thought was really cool, and she confronts her past as well, which was a really neat thing. Well, back in the present, the big revelation of the show is that Henry Parrish is Ichabod and Katrina's son, Jeremy. And he is also the Horseman of War, this creature who they're trying to stop from showing up in Sleepy Hollow for the whole of this episode. Has already been there for the last, 50 years or something. Death shows up unexpectedly, and he snatches Katrina and whisks her off somewhere. He seems to be working with Parrish. Henry Parrish / Jeremy imprisons his father, Ichabod, in the coffin that he himself was laid in, and then closes the coffin, and assumably Ichabod is going to get out of this really, really quickly, because we wouldn't have a show if he was stuck there for another 100 years or so. There's only a little bit of suspense in the show itself with the finale, just because we know these are the 2 main characters. They're not going to be separated for long. They're not going to be helpless for long, because that would make for a really boring show. Overall, I did really enjoy the season finale. I thought it was really, really interesting, and I look forward to seeing what they do with Henry Parrish's character and the rest of the main cast in the second season. That is my review of Sleepy Hollow Season 1. Leave your thoughts on it down in the comments down below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you despise it more than I did? Also, are you looking forward to Season 2? And did you see the Henry Mills Jeremy thing coming as well? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. And as always, my new people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.